Okay, so a few months ago, my roommate was, I guess when I first moved in, my roommate got sick all of a sudden and had the sniffles really badly. And it's like take entire rolls of toilet paper and use them up overnight to clear up his sinuses. But he used to leave them bundled up around the house, like just because he was lazy. And I'm still finding them, like every now and then I'll clean the house. Every now and then I'll find this old, crusty, bundled up bottle of snot from that period, like a month ago.
It's like a relic of a time in the past, eh?
Yeah, I make it sound bad, but it's really not that big a deal. I actually kind of find it funny at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've roasted them.
Picking them up and they just disintegrate a little bit. Little pieces of dust come out.
Yeah, I think I've gotten them all, but I think it's kind of I've roasted them enough about it, so like it's more of an inside joke now.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice. So, hello, everybody. This is NameCast. We have a great show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of things, whole bunch of games, gameplay, what is it, growing out of touch with people, and maybe some other cool topics and things like that. Now, I'm Nathan. Beside me is
Kevin.
And we have a guest on the show today.
My name is Wayne.
Absolutely. Wow, that was a seamless introduction. That was good.
We're going to rename the show WayneCast after this one.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Okay.
It's not happening at all. Okay, so let's get some housekeeping out of the way there, Kev. What have you been playing lately?
Lately, played a little bit of Downwell. So what I've done is on Steam, I went into the properties and made it so it doesn't block other downloads while you're playing it.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you can do that.
Fuck.
And because Downwell is such it's a small game.
Yeah.
I have no concern doing it at all. So what I've been doing is when I'm downloading games on Steam,
You just play Downwell.
I play Downwell.
Okay. Downwell for the download. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That's
I like
awesome.
it. Did you know you could do that, Wayne? That's like some next level shit. You
No, I didn't know
entered
that
the
at all.
Matrix over there.
That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
No, I know very little
Join
about
me to
Downwell, so
Oh, yeah. No, Downwell. Give him like the elevator pitch.
So Downwell, it's like really old school looking 2D game.
yeah.
And basically you're just moving down all the time, but you
Hence
can
the name.
shoot downwards,
Okay.
which kind of like makes you hover a little bit.
Okay.
And yeah, that's pretty much the entire game.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's
Really
it's
cool.
pretty
I've
awesome,
seen
though.
gameplay of it, but like
Okay,
Yeah.
so you know what it is.
aside from sparse bits of like visual recognition, I know nothing about it.
Okay. Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's fucking
All I
hard.
have to say
man.
about
They
it.
should print
Really
that on the
hard.
cover.
Yeah, it's one of those like quick, really intense games.
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
awesome.
What else you been playing?
So the game I was downloading while I was playing that
Yep.
was Hitman.
Hitman.
Remake? Or reboot, I guess?
Yeah, the new Hitman for
the
this
new
year.
one that they did episodic.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I played the first mission a couple times.
Ooh.
Because after you complete it, they're like, okay, now do it a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that, and it was really cool.
I've heard good things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've grown up playing the other Hitman games, so I've been kind of apprehensive about this one.
Okay.
Especially because Absolution kind of left a poor taste in my mouth.
So you know what's
Yeah.
funny? Absolution is the only Hitman I've actually played.
Oh.
So I,
I
feel
hear
like
that a
maybe-
lot, actually.
Yeah. So maybe I've been introduced poorly to the series. Now, what's your favorite Hitman game?
Blood Money. But
Everyone says that. So what's so good about Blood Money?
it's just
What-
kind of the peak stealth gameplay.
Yeah.
There's this little mechanic they added. Like I've played from the first game, Agent 47's not like, or sorry, Codename 47 isn't like that great.
Okay.
It hasn't aged well at all. But
Yep.
the sequel's not bad. And then they kind of sort of did a sequel half sequel, half remake of the first and second game with Hitman Contracts.
Okay.
So that one's also kind of just like an upgraded version of the second one, but Blood Money's the fourth in the series, and that one they kind of built everything from the ground up, so it doesn't feel like it like owes anything or isn't tied to the first three games.
Okay.
And not in any way, like you still have the same agency and the same characters,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of it's sort of just like here's a mission, here's a mission, here's a mission. They're not really connected. Just go do your thing. We'll give you a playground and you kind of go nuts with it.
So now, from the way you described that, it sounds like the newest Hitman with episodic content would kind of fit into that pretty well because they're like,
does.
there's no reason to tie all these together. Just give you a sandbox to play in to kill someone.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I think the reason that pissed a lot of people off when it was initially revealed was because with Absolution, they kind of took away from that and told a more linear, or told a story in a more linear format.
Yeah.
So I feel like most mainstream games kind of felt burned, but if they're going to go with that route, they could at least make it engaging. And the story
Right.
and the production of Absolution was through the roof for a Hitman game.
Yeah.
So to all of a sudden take this huge step back and go back to episodic, it worried me at least as a Hitman fan because it kind of felt like this was an afterthought. Like,
Okay.
Oh, we'll just throw an episode out once in a while.
Yeah,
and-
what
Okay.
sold me on it was listening to Giant Bomb talk about it in their Game of the Year awards things.
Yeah.
And yeah, they really, really loved it. So I'm like, I'll give her a try.
yeah.
Now, what do you think? What'd you think? You're not a stealth guy.
I
so-
liked it. I think it's one of those games I need to be in the right mood for.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I'll pick her back up again, play some more missions.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is there a lot of variety in how you can do things?
Yeah, well, I was playing like the tutorial level 2, and they kind of force you to do it a certain way.
Yeah.
During that first one, which is less fun. But on the second one, it was kind of better. Although I feel like I was robbed the opportunity to figure it all out on my own.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were just kind of handheld through the tutorial. But hopefully that expands more in the further bits of the game. So now, did you only buy one of the episodes, or?
No, I bought the whole package.
Shit, you went balls fucking deep.
Yeah, so I have like 6 or 7 missions to do.
Brother.
It's
cool.
pretty sweet.
Okay, nice. Now, what else you been playing? You've been playing a little bit of that Don't Starve.
Don't Starve.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a fun time with that last night.
Was it fun? It was fun up until the end.
So we tried recording a Let's Play of Don't Starve together.
Recorded it, I should add.
Me, at about 16 minutes of the way through, my mic went from recording my voice to recording very bad white noise.
Yeah, it sounded just like a snowstorm.
Garbage.
It was awesome.
Yeah, so we lost all my audio for a 2-hour play session.
Yeah, yeah, it sucked.
And you didn't find out till post, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm sitting here like, oh, that was a pretty good episode. And he comes down, he's like, Nathan, you have to sit down. I have something to tell you. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'll keep Audacity monitored next time.
What do you think of the game?
It's really, really fun.
Yeah,
it's a lot of shenanigans, and I think next time we play, we should both go random characters and
just go for it, see what happens.
Have you ever heard of Haven and Hearth?
No, what's that?
I've heard it compared to Don't Starve quite often. It's sort of like you create a character and you kind of get lost in an MMO style of world.
Okay.
We just supposed to be you can farm and kill each other and just kind of function. No, admittedly, I don't know much about it.
Right.
But I have heard the comparison, and I thought.
Okay.
I thought you'd know, but
have
evidently.
You played Don't Starve?
Just a little bit.
I recommend to a lot of people. In my mind, it's kind of like a Minecraft meets Binding of Isaac almost.
Okay.
And that kind of like
so it's like a roguelike Minecraft almost.
Yeah, and it's very obtuse in the way that it does things. Like you don't know why certain things will do certain things, and it's just scary sometimes too, because like dogs will just show up out of nowhere and fuck your day up.
Yeah.
And it's real scary.
Got to be ready to deal with anything.
Exactly. So from that, I've also been playing Don't Starve quite a bit. Having a lot of fun with it. I haven't played the DLC before. My brother and I used to play it, and now there's Don't Starve together. And yeah, Kevin and I are going to get a Let's Play to that eventually. And if you think to yourself, oh, I should buy that, maybe hold off because we may have a giveaway. Hint, hint, hint. So now, next thing I've been playing is Shovel Knight. I finally beat it. The Let's Plays will be continuing to go up every Tuesday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Talking is difficult. And I beat it, and I was like, wow, this game's rad. And then I started playing the Plague Knight DLC. Now, have any of you guys played Shovel Knight at all?
Only the first, like the original game. Never played the DLC.
Okay, yeah. No, the DLC, I love Shovel Knight. It's really fun. But what they did with the DLC is you're playing as a totally different character. You're playing as, Plague Knight. And it's not fun.
Oh.
Yeah, which I'm really... I'm not...
What makes it
I heard
not
that
fun?
people liked it, though.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's basically the way that you interact with people now is you throw bombs at them, and then you can kind of do like charge jumps and things like that. But it's just
wait, with people or with enemies?
With enemies, I mean to say. Yeah.
Like going around terrorizing villages.
Well, actually, you're not even allowed in the village. It's interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, because you're a bad guy.
I guess you're Plague Knight.
There's like a secret village downstairs.
Oh.
That you can enter. And it's kind of cool, actually, because he traverses the levels differently. So you're going through the same levels that Shovel Knight would go through, but you have access to different parts because you can traverse it differently.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. And, people interact with you totally differently. And, like, you'll pick up some items that Shovel Knight would use, like his magic wand or, like, the bracelet of phasing or whatever. And he's like, this is useless. Only an idiot would like this. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like one of those things like, shit, fuck me, right? So it's pretty clever. I don't like the way you play it because, I don't know. I've never been a big fan of, like, staying back from the sidelines and just whipping bombs at people.
Yeah.
I would rather jump on
user.
someone's head with a shovel. Like, that's just more exciting to me. So I'm really excited for the Spectre Knight DLC that should be coming out in a couple months. That looks way more up my alley. So I hope to see more from that, and hopefully we can get more Shovel Knight in the channel in the future. And the last thing I've been playing is a bit more Doom 2016. Okay, Kev, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I'm going to beat it.
No.
I'm like 4 hours in. I had a good time. Had some fun. I think I'm done. Now, you've actually beaten it, Wayne. What do you think about it?
No. I haven't. No, I played the demo.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. You cheapskate.
Yeah, I just listen to the soundtrack all the time.
Okay. I thought you actually beat it.
I played the first two when I was like young.
Yeah.
Much too young for playing Doom. But
Okay.
I did.
So now, are you like a Doom fan?
Oh yeah. I was when I was, I think, 8 or 9. Doom 3 came out, and it was the perfect time for me to play it because I actually enjoyed it.
Right.
Looking back at it now, it's not really.
Now, for you, is it Doom or Quake? Which wins out?
I'd say Doom, but
Really?
I only had Quake 64 growing up, which is the worst version.
It is the worst version of Quake. Now, Wayne, what have you been playing lately?
Lately, I just beat Dishonored the other day.
What do you think? That's a game that I've been on the fence about for years.
Well, what I like about it, what I like the most about it is the narrative behind it.
Mm-hmm.
A game that the narrative shifts depending on how you play the game.
Okay.
So if you go through killing all of the guards or killing civilians, something like that, then the fictional city or in Dunwall around you starts to kind of fall apart, and the plague spreads, and people react to you differently versus if you just knock them out or walk by them or something like that. Now, I'm a big stealth fan. I enjoy stealth games quite a bit, so I had no problem stealthing through the game and knocking everybody out.
Right.
So I got the what's called low chaos, which is you didn't cause a bunch of problems sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now, I liked that. The problem is I was going for this trophy called Clean Hands where you don't kill anyone throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
Now, the game has a very picky and specific way of defining how you murder somebody. For example, if you choke someone out and just leave them, it's fine. But if, they happen to fall off a ledge or you leave them on like a wharf and they fall into the water or something, it counts that as a kill. And somehow, some way, I get to the end of one of these missions I had played through and somehow killed one person.
Yeah.
Even though I played the whole game on the hardest difficulty, knocking everybody out, they stole the trophy from me. And I found out afterwards, really genius decision from Arkham, by the way.
Okay.
The studio, no level select. Even though there's a level select button in the main menu, you have to keep a save from the start of every level. I'm going to keep the level select. So if I want to get that trophy, I'm going to have to play through the whole game again.
Huh.
So that kind of soured me on it.
That'd be...
I was raring to go. I was going to play the sequel and all the DLC, but I don't...
Not feeling it anymore.
But the game itself was really good.
Okay,
Stealth mechanics are awesome.
Nice. Okay, cool. So now what else have you been playing? You got on here Yakuza 3.
Yes.
Absolutely. So now, are you a big fan of the Yakuza games?
I love them.
Yeah?
I grew up loving them. I'm replaying through the whole series.
Have you played any of these at all, Kev?
No, I haven't.
So what are they? I have no idea.
The best way I could describe it is a love child between Grand Theft Auto and a traditional JRPG.
Okay.
Now, it's a bit more linear than an open world game like Grand Theft Auto, but essentially the premise is you play, in the first game anyway, you play as this character who was banished from like his Yakuza clan. I'm not really super familiar with how Yakuza work in real life.
I think they cut off your fingers. That's all I know.
Yeah. They're kind of like the mob, but sort of not really.
Yeah.
Anyway, and you just kind of go around trying to redeem yourself to your respective clan anyway. Mm-hmm. But you get involved with this conspiracy with all this missing yen, and essentially there's this overdramatic sort of soap opera-esque story to set the tone for everything, and you can just kind of go around this fictionalized part of Tokyo and just go crazy. There's a bunch of mini games. You can go bowling and play like crane games and like go to these things called hostess bars, which are sort of like strip clubs, except the exact opposite of the intention of a strip club.
It sounds Japanese as fuck.
Yeah, it is. It's super Japanese, to the point where the game that I'm playing, number 3, they cut out a good 6 or 7 hours worth of content just because it seemed too Japanese for the Western market.
That's hilarious.
That's after taking like 3 years to localize it because they just didn't know if they wanted to afford it or not.
That's funny, man. Wow. So they thought they went too far.
Yeah, exactly. But
Okay.
I love grinding. I love collecting things, and there's so much of that in these games.
Yeah.
Like I spent a good 2 hours just playing the pool game, trying to beat everyone. Virtual pool in a game where you go around getting into brawls with people on the street and building up. There's just so many variables. I love it.
Okay, nice. So now, how many Yakuza games are there in the series?
The main series, there's 6.
Wow, you got a long way to go.
There's also 2 spin-offs, but those aren't getting released here because they take place in feudal Japan, and I guess that's just too Japanese.
That's way too Japan for us, apparently.
Which is a shame, because I heard that one of them came out in 2014. It's supposed to be like one of the best like video games on the PS4.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get it.
Okay.
Shame.
Huh.
Yeah, and there's a couple other spin-offs, but only Japan, so.
Only Japan. Now, what else have you been playing?
I've been playing the Dark Cloud. I bought Dark Cloud 1 and 2 not too long ago. It's just taking me a while to get around to them.
Okay.
It's because Dark Cloud 2 is one of those games I played a lot when I was a kid, but don't remember a whole lot about.
Same, actually. Dark Tag 2 is the only one that I played.
Okay,
and then I got stuck in a pond or something, but yeah, I do remember it. Yeah.
I think I played the first one for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was like after playing the second one. So I did play the second one up to beating the game. Like I know that because it's just part at the end of the game, you have to type in the name of a character to get past the door, and I forgot what it was.
Right.
And that frustrated me for a while.
Yeah.
So I remember that, but I just don't remember much about it. So I figured, screw it, I'll play through the games again.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah?
I mean, okay, it's aged. It's a 16-year-old game at this point.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's like a dungeon crawler. You collect items, and you have to you'll go from town to town. Essentially, the whole story of the game is this demon shows up and swallows up all these towns, whole. Mm-hmm. Puts all these things into these magic balls, and you go through these layers of a dungeon, floors of a dungeon, collecting these magic balls and releasing them and rebuilding all these towns.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. Is I enjoy the dungeon crawling aspect. I enjoy collecting these items and slowly kind of piecing together back this town.
Right.
And how you do that is you'll place a building and put a person inside the building, then say, hey, how do I rebuild the town? He'll be like, oh, I'd like to be by a waterfall.
Okay.
And then it's like, oh, look, there's a waterfall on this map, so I've got to put this person over here. And while you're going through the dungeon, you're slowly putting together how you're supposed to put the town back together.
Yeah.
And when you complete both the dungeon and put the town back together correctly, you get the special item, and it's just...
Okay, it's got
great.
a good gameplay loop like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It keeps me engaged. There's always something going on.
I feel like, Kevin, this is something that I feel like you would fuck with, but I'm surprised you haven't.
I've never heard of Dark Cloud.
Really?
Ever?
Yeah.
It seems like an up-your-alley type of game.
It sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
Well, it's things like when you're in the dungeon, you have to keep track of your health and also your weapons, health bar, because they can break.
Yeah.
But while you're hitting things with the weapon, you'll build this thing called ABS, which when you get to a certain point, you can upgrade the weapon, synthesize with different runes or gems, that sort of thing. Also, there's a thirst meter, so you have to take that into consideration. So it almost looks like a timer. There's always something happening.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
never
Nice.
a moment where I can feel relaxed, which I know doesn't sound very pleasant, but
We were both big fans of Dark Souls, so that sounds
yeah,
about right.
exactly.
Yeah.
You don't like to enjoy games either.
No.
Yeah.
Enjoying games is totally overrated.
Yeah.
Now, I seen you list here. You also have the Uncharted Collection. You've been playing that for a while now, too, eh?
I kind of stopped around chapter 7 of Uncharted 2 to play Dishonored.
Okay.
And then I kind of flipped between Dishonored and Dark Cloud when I had the time to. But I'm really enjoying it. The 60 frames per second does a lot to immerse me in the game anyway.
Right.
I know that sounds kind of shallow, but...
Yeah, no, it's totally fair, man.
I love them. They're still equally as good as when I first played them.
Okay.
I'm working up to Uncharted 4.
Yep.
I wish I had some way to play Golden Abyss, but I'm not about to buy a Vita.
Now, you get the fuck out of here.
I'm not. It's not that I don't like the Vita. I just don't see a value for someone like me to buy it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not...
It's okay that you're wrong.
Okay.
That's totally fine.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because I always defended the PSP from everyone.
Okay.
It's like
the PSP was great. It was the best place to play Mario, I say.
No, but I thought its line of remakes, but also its independent line of games and spin-offs were great for what it was.
Okay.
But the Vita...
What is your issue with the Vita? Lay it on me.
Like
Lay
everyone...
it on me.
I know it's typical, but I just don't see that many competent exclusives drawing me into it. Like Gravity Rush was one of them, but they got remastered for the PS4, so...
Freedom Wars? That says nothing to you?
Freedom Wars
Taco
looks fine.
Master?
I don't know Taco
You got
Master.
nothing there? It's the best place to play Minecraft?
If I was super into JRPGs
Shut the fuck up, Kevin.
and waifu culture, I would totally be down with a Vita.
Yeah.
But I'm not. So
You can play some Danganronpa on that bitch.
how is that deterring me from...
It's good.
Apparently the Danganronpa port is pretty bad.
Listen, Kev, shut the fuck up. I think the best thing on the Vita right now is probably Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah. But Persona 3. I started playing that for an hour.
Nice.
But I haven't picked it up in a while.
I never got into the Persona games.
I can't I'm trying not to be too judgmental, but it's so Japanese.
Okay.
Too
Full disclosure,
Japanese.
I don't own a Vita. My brother does, though.
Okay. I'm just going to bat for your brother then. Oh.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know. I think I'm going to take it from him and then just start using it. I don't think he's used it in years. But it's a good system, and it does have a lot of good games on it. I recommend... And I hear Golden Abyss is actually pretty legit.
Yeah.
It was made by Bend.
Yeah.
They're a competent studio. They're making Days Gone right now, too, which looks dope.
Yeah, it does, actually.
Yeah. But speaking about the Uncharted Collection, I actually played it the same way that you played it. So I never really played the original games. I played a little bit of them. And then I was like, you know what? Uncharted 4 looks pretty cool. Let's pick up the Uncharted Collection. And I blasted through all of them in about a week.
Yeah.
So I went through it. And the first game, it's rough.
Yeah,
It's rough.
I'm going to take a moment to defend Drake's Fortune here.
Okay.
It's good. The Uncharted Collection, they changed up some gameplay elements.
Yeah.
To make it more synonymous with the other two.
Yeah, but
So
it's rough,
better.
man.
It's by far the weakest, but it's still good. It's just kind of the gameplay is standard, but the characters are so charming and everyone performs so charismatically that it's fine. The aesthetic pulls you in.
Yeah.
I think what makes it seem rough is that Uncharted 2 and 3 are just way better.
Now, where do you stand on the Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3 debate?
I would say that overall 3 is the better game.
Okay.
But 2 is such a leap forward from 1.
Right.
That I can see why people say it's the best in the series. And I think, like, keeping the whole series in mind, I'd say that 2 is probably the best.
Really?
Just because of the jump from 1 to 2.
Okay.
Like 3 just essentially had to do 2 and not screw it up. You know?
Yeah.
And it's good. It's really good. The variety in locations is amazing in number 3.
Okay.
Like in 2 it's great too.
Yeah.
But number 3 is fantastic. You go all over the place. Like which is what part of the reason I play an Uncharted game is to feel like I'm exploring all these untamed wild lands. You know? But yeah, I'd say that 3 is a better game, but 2 is probably the best example of the series.
Interesting. I would put 3 over 2 actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems more interesting to me. I didn't really like the whole Lazarus Pit thing anyway, and I wasn't really feeling that. I mean, Lazarevic is kind of a good bad guy, like a good standard.
A good Ivan Drago-esque.
Exactly. He's a good bad guy in that sense. But Kevin has nothing to say now. He's just watching like, I don't know what you're talking about. What is a PlayStation?
You're not.
But that's okay.
You're not familiar with
Shoemaker
Uncharted?
hates the third one. That's all I know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know who that is, but he's probably wrong. Okay. But no, man, I was a big fan of it. It's just I didn't really get the same appeal out of 2. Like 3 felt like a movie to me. Like when that game opens, that game opens
in
awesome.
Ireland?
It reminded me of Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
It was so sick. When
It's so
like,
good.
You find it, and then the cutter shoots them, and you're like, "What the hell just happened?" And then you find it was a whole con, and
Here's a question.
What up?
Where do you stand on Temple of Doom? And think about the Indiana Jones trilogy. How do you feel about Temple of Doom?
Now I'm going to tell you something that may get a little bit of judgment, and I'm okay with that. I only saw Temple of Doom and Raiders 2 years ago.
Oh.
With me.
Yes.
Seeing them for the first time as well.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't see them till high school, so I'm not going to
Okay.
judge you too heavily.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know where to put it. I mean, I remember watching Raiders and being like, because usually when you watch a movie, you're like, yeah, you know, I can see where this comes from, but I'm like, this is really fucking good.
Temple of Doom?
Raiders.
Raiders.
This is really fucking good. And then we got to Temple of Doom, and I was like, this opening is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It opens so rad. And then, I don't know, I think I get lost a little more in Temple of Doom, where I'm like, okay, what's going
weird.
on here? So they're trying to sacrifice to do the what?
Yeah.
And the side characters
hell?
are lame in Temple
Yeah.
of Doom. Especially, have you seen Last Crusade?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen Last Crusade yet.
Okay, so you'll understand that.
I hear that's real good.
Sean Connery and Harrison Ford just kill it in
Yeah.
that movie.
It's really, really awesome.
Okay.
So to go from Temple of Doom to that is like really highlights just how underperformed.
I mean, let's be real though here, guys. They're no Crystal Skull. I mean, Crystal Skull is the pinnacle of
you know what?
What? What's Crystal Skull?
I know we joke, but I think there are elements of Crystal Skull that are better than Temple of Doom.
Okay.
At least the plot is cohesive. It's stupid.
Yeah.
But it's cohesive.
It's got Shia the Beef in it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay.
So like if you're going into it, like at least I don't like watching Crystal Skull, but I don't really like watching Temple of Doom because it's like, look, can we just watch the first 20 minutes and then just go to Last Crusade sort of thing?
Okay.
It's kind of like Batman versus Superman versus Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And that I'd say that Batman vs Superman is probably like the worst movie, but Suicide Squad's
Really?
so all over the place and nonsensical.
Yeah.
Like at least Batman vs Superman has a cohesive plot, so I'd rather watch it than a movie
Martha.
like yeah. There's a lot of dumb decisions made with it, but at
Yeah.
least like I know what's happening. The reasoning behind the characters' motivations is ridiculous, but at least it's there.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, it's like, oh, we're just doing this now because
Interesting. I didn't even bother seeing Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, like I legitimately laughed out at it in the movie theaters. Like this is stupid.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell a trailer house cut one of the films?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which it really disappointed me because David Ayer was directing that one. He's a legitimately good director. Like he made
Yeah.
Fury. He made oh god, I always forget the name of it, but another really popular movie. And I don't know what happened, man.
Yeah, it's
I don't know
studio
what
meddling.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I'm really not looking forward to the Justice League. Like last week, we went through a list of movies that we're looking forward to. Not one DC movie was on there.
Yeah.
Like I don't have much faith in it anymore.
Yeah. And like the thing with DC is they make really great trailers.
Yeah.
Which, as they learned the hard way, trailer houses can't cut a whole movie.
No.
Like Suicide Squad, but they still make great trailers. So every time a trailer comes out, everyone's like starts screaming their jeans.
Yeah.
Screaming like it's gonna be so good. I'm like, no, it's not. It's
Probably not. It's probably not.
Remember how good the trailers for Batman vs Superman looked?
They looked, that second trailer was fucking awesome. I was like, I am 100% into this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super hyped.
Super hyped. And then what happened? I don't know. What happened?
Zack Snyder happened. He's so. Have you seen any of his other movies that aren't based on?
I like Watchmen.
Watchmen's fine, but I mean, Sucker Punch. That's what I'm thinking of.
I didn't bother watching that.
It's terrible.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And not just that, but like it has this really convoluted and hard to follow plot, like meta narrative about the character's psychology. It's strange. When he's allowed to go crazy with creative control, he just makes a weird movie.
Yeah.
That tries to make way too many messages.
Yeah, because the only real good movies were probably like Watchmen and 300.
Yeah, but
even then, 300 isn't really considered a good movie.
No,
It
was
performed
awesome
well.
though. Yeah.
visually, stunning.
Visually, it was cool.
Yeah.
Turn your brain off, you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Granted, the comic I have the comic and it's fine.
Okay.
It's more or less the same thing as the movie.
Yeah.
But in the comic, it works because it's a friggin' comic book.
Right.
Like you need to have people screaming and yelling on a page. So that's how you get motivation. But you can do so much more with film. And I feel like he dropped the ball. The action scene's beautifully directed.
Okay.
That's kind of thing with Zack Snyder, I think. You can always count on him to deliver really awesome action scenes.
Right.
But his narratives are just weak.
Okay.
That's the best way I can describe them.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely agree with that. Now, Kevin, before we started this episode, you said you had a tale of last night.
Yes.
What do you got for me?
So last night, I was just bored,
Yep.
sitting in my chair. So I put on some YouTube.
Okay. Where you
Stumbled onto Linus Tech Tips.
He's motioning his hand up and down for when they can't
Thanks,
see.
Wayne,
Yes.
for the descriptive. Okay, perfect.
I want everyone
I
to
was
be
watching,
in on the joke.
was watching some computer build based videos and stuff, and I was like,
Okay.
you know what? For the longest time, I've been meaning to clean up the mess of wires in my computer case.
Oh, God.
This is about 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, no. What a rabbit hole.
Perfect
So I
time for
turned the
that.
computer off, unplug it all,
I heard sounds
take the
coming out
side
of your
panels
room
off.
when I was
Yeah,
going
you
to
like
bed.
just went to bed. I'm like,
And I was like, what the fuck's he doing in
I'm
there?
in too deep now.
Okay.
Yeah, I unplugged everything. I had to take like the graphics card out, the power supply out,
Yeah.
and rewired it all.
Oh, my
And
God.
Yeah, then there's something that's super, super annoying about my computer build.
Okay.
It's that the motherboard, it has a bunch of little plugs for everything that goes to the front panel. So that's like your lights for your hard drive, your power light, the power button, the reset button, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the labeling for where you're supposed to put those pins in are so goddamn confusing. So I got everything rewired in about an hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
Like real nice and neat. And then for another 30 to 45 minutes, I was just trying to plug these things into the right spot.
Yeah.
Because like it was so hard to tell like where I was supposed to put things.
And you like have your phone in one hand with the flashlight, just like
Yes.
Yeah.
I turned the flashlight on my phone. I just set it at the bottom of the computer case. I was just
shine it up in your face. You're like, I'm looking into the sun.
yeah. I'm like pulling and plugging wires in while the power supply's on.
It's like that thing from
That's
Men in
a
Black.
no-no.
It's like, think for what?
That device they have in the movie Men in
yeah,
Black.
that just erases
The
your
memory.
memory.
Wait, what was I doing?
God. What?
Where does this go again?
So how'd it go?
I eventually got it together.
Okay.
And it was about 3 a.m. at this point. A little bit after, actually. And I'm like, okay, well, the other thing I did too, actually, is I had my graphics card in one of the lower slots.
Yeah.
I moved it up to a higher slot so the fans have a little bit more room.
Okay.
And whenever you do that, Windows needs to like reinstall drivers again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So then at 3:30 in the morning, I'm installing drivers.
Fucking hell,
My
okay.
graphics card.
Okay.
And then I'm like, I wonder if this actually helped. So then I ran some benchmark thing.
And did it?
I don't remember what the old scores are, and I cannot find my old scores.
Right on.
They're still in the thousands. That's all I
So
remember.
It's all for naught. That's really funny.
It wasn't all for naught.
thing to do.
You look
Yeah.
in the computer case now; it's just beautiful. You can see everything. Before there was just giant bundles of wires running across. There's a wire like strapping down the graphics card, not because it needed strapping down, but because I needed to reach the fan there.
I don't even want to look inside my computer. It's probably just bad. You and
I think I
did
made
that.
yours cleaner.
Not too bad?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could
Okay,
probably
cool.
clean it more, but fuck that. You have a mid tower.
Sounds good to me.
You don't deserve a clean case.
Fair enough. Speaking of computers, you don't have one.
I do. It's just terrible.
Yeah, well, it's like an apple, right, or something.
Well, it's
I meant to say potato, but I said apple. Okay. And then I was like, oh wait, Apple's a computer
What's
company.
the difference?
Yeah. Exactly.
No, my mom works at a aerospace company, and they were giving away a bunch of older computers, and she just gave that to me one day. What happened was I planned on building another computer.
Yep.
I put one together when I was in high school, right around the time Skyrim came out, for Skyrim.
Yep.
And yeah, I know. I sold that one to my brother.
Okay.
And then I moved to this is a couple years ago. I moved to Halifax.
Yeah.
With my plan of building a computer when I got there, but I never did.
Yeah.
And then I moved back home, but a city over.
Right.
Saved up over that summer. I was going to move here and build another computer, but I never did. I'm just going
Okay.
to use this one in the meantime.
Yeah.
The one positive that came out of it, though, having
Yeah.
this hunk of trash computer.
Okay.
Like, I mean, like literally a gig of RAM, like barely enough to keep the operating
Oh,
system
wow.
going.
Okay, yeah.
20 some gigabytes of storage on the hard drive.
Right
like,
on.
It's an office computer, you know?
Yeah.
I played a lot of older role-playing games from the late 90s.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's some great stuff there that I've totally been missing out on.
Okay.
I played the first 2 Fallout games. Finally.
How were the first 2 Fallout games?
Amazing. Fallout 2 is one of the greatest games of all time.
Really?
I'll say that definitively. It's fantastic.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So good.
Okay.
I also I tried to play Neverwinter Nights, but it didn't go well.
Oh, why? Your computer couldn't run it?
Just barely couldn't pull it off.
Okay.
I really liked it. I played some of the first Heroes of Might and Magic games. It was great.
Here's My Magic's fantastic.
Yeah.
Here's My Magic 3 is like really high on my list.
That was the last
So
one I played.
good, eh?
Super good. Unique, like tactical role playing. Really good.
You know what's funny? So that's the kind of thing that Kevin would do at the middle of the night. Literally, I'm sitting here at 1:30 in the morning looking at my computer going, I could really play a match of Heroes of Magic 3 right now. And I'm looking at it like, but if I do, I will be up till 5. I know it. So,
What was the most recent one? 7?
I never bothered. I don't know. It really lost its magic after 3.
No pun intended.
Oh, I didn't mean to say that. But yeah. I mean, yeah, totally. Super smooth.
Oh, God. Yeah, I heard a lot of bad things about the last one.
Yeah.
So I was hoping you would rant about it, but if you
Oh,
haven't played
I didn't bother playing it. Did you?
Nope.
Well, I guess you can't run it. So
No, yeah, I can't. But the moment I can, I'm putting together another PC.
Yeah.
I need to finish The Witcher.
yeah.
I'm super invested, but I haven't gotten to play 3 yet. Same with Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah, Inquisition's fantastic.
I love Origin so much I can forget about number 2. That's how much I love Origin.
Yeah, and number 2, like, it's just, I don't know why they decided to make a hack and slash game. That's what boggled my mind.
Well, like even the development story behind Origins, it was shadow developed as a passion project over the course of like 5 years.
Yeah, because it had so in its DNA like old PC game vibes,
Yeah.
you know, and it really
it was a
showed.
love letter to the
Absolutely,
It's a follow-up
absolutely.
to
To, like,
Baldur's Gate.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
super. Oh, Baldur's Gate. That's the other one. I was playing
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate. I still haven't finished it because I moved. Now I'm playing console games, but
Right. Yeah.
that's not. But anyway, I didn't mean to sidetrack.
No, it's totally cool.
Yeah. Number 2 like was just kind of shot out in the span of a year and a half with a whole new team of writers.
Yeah.
And it shows, especially considering the third one went back to the subtitle format.
Yep.
Like there's Origins 2 Inquisition.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
The second one feels the most like a product that
Yep.
was meant for the market. You know
Well,
what I mean?
and 2 totally takes you to a different area. It takes you to Kirkwall, right?
Yeah.
So you're not
Yeah.
even
Just
in,
Kirkwall.
Exactly. So I mean, you're still in Thedas, but you're not in Ferelden anymore. And Ferelden was so fleshed out in the first one, and it
Yeah.
had the thing with Orlais and all that. And then you're like, okay, let's go to just Kirkwall. And it's like,
yeah.
well, this feels like a much smaller adventure. And I mean, the Kunari, sure, they look cooler in the second game, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And it does have some callbacks to the other one, but you're playing as a totally different character. The Blight thing, they're like, oh, yeah, that big epic adventure in the first one. What? Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh,
That was the
cool.
thing that happened.
Cool. That's awesome.
And the worst part is like Kirkwall's not even the biggest city in the free marches.
No.
It's Starkhaven.
Yeah.
So we go to
it's
like the silver medal of this.
it's just lame because like in the first one, I don't know, you just feel badass when you go into other areas. Like you go into Orzammar and you're like, holy shit,
Yeah.
like this is cool. And Orzammar is like the dwarven city.
And the
it's
deep
just,
roads.
oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. the
You
deep
really
roads are
feel like
sick.
you're lost in this cavern of like endless tunnels.
Yeah, and then the deep roads setup in 2 is kind of like we're gonna go in on an adventure montage. And it's just like cool, this is sick. And then the dwarven guy gets obsessed with red lyrium, and that's kind of what goes on. The only good thing about 2 is that if it kind of sets up some aspects of 3.
Yeah.
Is I think the only good thing about it, because 3 is sick and you should really
I know,
play it.
but I want to slam it on the console.
Yeah.
I want to. I have 2 very like perfect playthroughs on the PC.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that again.
Okay.
I don't want to play Origins on the console, first of all. Like, I just don't want to deal with that.
I hear it's a lot better on the PC. I never played it on PC.
No?
No.
Oh, so much better.
Yeah?
And the mod support is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really... I'm surprised, actually.
Dude, I literally... My first time playing PC games was about a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it was console before this. Yeah, this is my first PC. My last one before this I had in... I'm going to say 2001.
Wow, shit.
Yeah,
that
and then
shocks me,
and then 2010 I got an Apple laptop. And I still have it, but yeah, I never really played games on it. Yeah, what did I play? I played Portal 2 on it. That was it.
Portal.
Yeah.
Portal is sweet.
Okay, now where do you stand? Portal or Portal 2? Because Kevin and I disagree on this one.
Probably Portal 2.
Really? See, Kev? See?
But here's the thing.
He's on the right side
I
of
got
history.
pretty much all bonus barrel behind me though. So.
Whatever.
Yeah, I just like the personality of Portal 2. I find Wheatley so entertaining. And I like the co-op.
Steven Merchant kills it.
Yeah, so
Kills
good.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. But I like Portal for what it did.
Yeah.
It's Portal 2 like had the success of Portal writing. It's like they could kind of be a bit more creative.
Yeah.
Portal itself was kind of a gamble, especially considering it's from Valve, or known for like Half-Life and Left 4 Dead and all that.
Right.
Portal seems kind of like really like a 6-hour puzzle or physics puzzle game.
Yeah, it's kind of nowhere. It's
With
like,
like
what?
with like this pseudo meta narrative kind
Yeah.
of, and then like it's, but it's so good.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
I just think I find 2 more entertaining, but maybe I have to play them again. So.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I got lost when I played too.
Really?
Like,
You
yeah,
get
my
lost.
I didn't get like lost. My motivation got lost.
Oh.
It was, yeah.
I played it in pretty much a 1 hour sitting. Or not 1 hour, Jesus. That would be really impressive.
He sped run Portal 2 the first
Yes,
time.
yeah. First time I played it, I was like, I know exactly where to go. It's like I saw the Matrix. Just, no, in like a one sitting kind of play session. But that's how I tend to play a lot of games. So.
Yeah, I probably would have done that if I
Yeah.
didn't get bored partway through.
You're just bad at playing games, Kev. That's
Not really.
Actually, you know what though? You had the fortitude to sit through all of The Witness.
Yes.
So good on you.
That was physically painful.
Oh my goodness.
I haven't even attempted to sit through most of the Witness.
It's really hard, dude.
Yeah.
It's just really obtuse and like.
But that's what
Yeah.
makes it good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great.
Well, Johnny Blow,
So
killing
pretty.
it. Okay, guys. Now I want to chat about something here. I saw a meme the other day that I sent over to you. It was a picture. Basically, it showed a bunch of icons of mobile games where they're all screaming on it. It's things like Boom Beach and what's that other one? Clash
Game of
Royale,
War.
Clash of Clans, Game of War, all these types of games. And it
The
said on
Legend
them.
27.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I get what you're talking about. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't mean to totally dismiss you there. It's just anyway. So
My
yeah, it was
fragile
that.
heart.
And what it said on it was like, let's all make the same dumb face and have a game that has no gameplay in it, where you just go around and click on things. And that kind of pissed me off because I'm
okay.
like, it says it has no gameplay in it, and I'm like, I think people are misunderstanding what gameplay meant, because I put up a game for a game jam, and it was a walking simulator, and you go around a room and you just kind of find out more about this person as you click through the room, and someone's like, man, this is a really cool story. You should add some gameplay. And I'm like, but I don't think you know what that word means. So where do we stand on this? I'd like to actually, hopefully, maybe to get a debate from it. So where do we stand? What does gameplay mean? What is gameplay? You know what I mean?
Okay, well, within the context of the Clash of Clans Game of War comment, I can see where they're coming from, and I agree wholeheartedly. In that
Really?
this is gameplay built around distraction.
Okay.
You're not actually accomplishing anything. The game thinks or tells you that you're accomplishing something, but really it's just kind of like, hit this, hit this, hit this, hit this.
I understand that, but you could say the gameplay isn't good, but to say there's no gameplay,
I think
isn't that a stupid thing to say?
I think it's kind of like when you look at abstract art without any meaning,
Okay.
and you say it's not art, sort of thing.
Right.
It's like, I get it technically is art, but like you didn't really do anything with it.
Right.
This doesn't feel like it was made to stimulate the player. It feels like it was made to keep the player invested. Now the specific apps they mentioned are pretty. Okay, when I say invested, I don't mean like gameplay keeps the player invested, but I mean like a developer with heart will put their soul into developing the gameplay to keep the player as invested as they can through. Oh God, what am I trying to say here? Like,
So are you implying that on the mobile games, the developers don't have heart? Because I really think it's a lot more soulless than that.
I think 90% of them are soulless games.
Really?
A lot of them are microtransaction riddled, like puzzle app sort of things. Now,
Okay.
not all of them. Some of them can be great, but a lot of them just kind of are in it for a quick buck, I would say.
Okay.
Because it's easy to make.
But I mean, all games are to make money.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Don't disillusion yourself into thinking that people do it just for art. Art's not going to feed your family.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So,
but I mean, you can feel the difference between. Okay, look at a game like the Order 1866 or 1886, whatever it was, that PS4 exclusive.
Yep.
That is pure visual feast, but no heart was put in the gameplay. It's the standard run of the mill cover shooter gameplay.
I think the sequel is going to be dope. No, legitimately, I actually do. I think the tech is there. They just have to make a good game.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're a good studio. I am very looking forward to that sequel, and I definitely think there's going to be an Order 1887.
But that's how I feel about these clicker apps, is what I would call them, I guess.
Okay.
Is that it's like a standard, like there's a standard fare with a lot of these apps. Like if there's more uniqueness between them, I could justify the whole gameplay angle. But it feels like there's this checklist of gameplay features.
Okay.
Have you ever noticed how the interface for a lot of these games is very similar?
Now I just want
because it's a phone game.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
I just want to transition this now. Okay.
I suppose.
Wayne's made a lot of good points. Now, Kevin, you work on a pretty big mobile game.
Yeah.
Like one of the biggest on the store.
Yeah.
So
One of the biggest.
yeah, he works on
It's
Simpsons
not
Tapped
anymore. It's top 30 now.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So it's a pretty big game. So now you would have a different view of something like this.
Yeah. Well, as far as my game, it's a content game.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just more
Right.
content being put in.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you build your own town. That's perfectly fine.
Yep.
It's game stuff. But yeah, I think a lot of people have this like false image in their mind of what all those games are.
Okay.
Like there was like 16 games in that image thing.
Right.
And about 10 of them were Game of War-esque games.
Right.
Where there's very kind of light management stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But all the real gameplay actually comes from competing against other players.
Right.
And I don't know, it's kind of weird, like, because like it's a multiplayer thing. That the mechanics from that are actually significantly more deep than the work you need to put into it. So a lot of people dismiss the gameplay stuff coming from that aspect. But I don't know. To me, they feel like full games.
Okay.
At the very least.
Yeah.
But yeah, also Clash Royale was on that list, and that's just retarded.
Clash Royale's good.
Clash Royale's
It's
like
legit good.
one of the better
I know nothing
games.
about it.
A lot of people like it more than Hearthstone.
Yeah, exactly. And like when I showed that to you, you made an interesting comment of like those games have as much or more gameplay than Hearthstone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe it's just on
That's true, yeah.
on trend to dislike things like that. And you made an interesting point, Wayne, whereas that it's the only point of the game is to waste your time. Well,
No.
Point
It's
any
not- I'm
game
not
is
saying-
to use your time, basically.
I'm not saying the only point. I just
Okay.
mean like I can understand where the reputation comes from because if
Okay.
you look at the amount of like if you look on the App Store for the average game, like just look
Yeah.
at games in the App Store, there's a lot of garbage.
Yeah, there's a lot of trash stuff.
And it's
Yeah.
kind of like when the Wii was in like its third or fourth year and all those shovelware trash titles kept coming out for it. It
Right.
was hard not to associate the Wii with
yeah.
trash titles. Now I do think there are good mobile games.
Right.
I downloaded one a while ago. It's just a dumb little like prison role
What's it
playing
called?
game. It's straight up called Prison RPG.
Okay, it's good.
It was like $4.50. Like
Yeah.
and it's good. Like there was not like not a lot of deep gameplay. It's just a lot of dice rolling and
Yeah.
chance. But I got
Yeah.
from when I got my money's worth. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it's
I-
just micro pieces of gaming. I think that the biggest issue is that they're so there's much like there's not as much or not nearly as much there as like in a AAA title, for example. And I feel like
Well, I think it'd be unreastic to expect there to be as much.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
there for
I
a
understand
AAA
why.
title.
I just find most people wouldn't.
Because at this point, it seems like the mobile market is like a race to the bottom, basically, whereas
Yeah.
everything's giving out for free. And yeah, you're not going to be able to get a quality game experience like that. Like you're going to have MTXs, microtransactions, and you're going to have things like this to be able to get some money
Yeah.
back from the player. You know,
The big difference is like, are the microtransactions justified by the context of the game, or is it like the only way to really have fun with it is to blow a bunch of money on it?
right?
There's a game that came out, The Sims Free Play,
Okay.
a mobile Sims
Yeah.
game.
Yep.
And what happens is their way of extending gameplay is like every action you do in the game takes like is a real time action. So if you eat,
Mm-hmm.
it takes like literally 45 minutes. That's almost like a virtual pet game, but you can
Right.
spend real money
Yeah.
to speed the action
Speed up
up.
that action.
But what they don't tell you is the game is not really that fun unless you're speeding up the actions.
Well, they wouldn't tell you that it's not fun.
Yeah, I know, but I
Play
mean
our
like
game, it's not fun.
I know, but I mean like playing the game is kind of like it's fun for a little bit, but after a while you're kind of like it just kind of becomes a hassle.
Right.
Because you have to come back. It's like, oh, if I don't feed these guys every now and then, they're gonna like. No one really dies, but you come back and you have to do all this stuff, and it's like if you forget about the game for a day, you have to like feed them and like send them to bed and
Right.
then take a shower, and that takes like that's a 2-day commitment almost.
Okay.
So in that sense, you're almost forced into spending real money just to enjoy the game, like more than what you put into the game, and it's free, so like that's a good first step. But still, it makes the game feel soulless almost, like it's only designed to make money. Whereas I feel like it gives a bad name to people that are really trying to put themselves out there and create a competent product, because they get lumped in with these sort of soulless products. And I guess most things from big production companies generally have less heart than like a smaller, more independent production studio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because of the way the things are. They have to handle multiple projects, so they don't have time to dedicate themselves to one specific thing.
Yeah, and I would argue that too. And I think the primary aspect of that, just as a side tangent, does come down from when you have a big studio, you have to make a project that you want to be successful. I mean, you always want your product to be successful, but you have to be kind of certain with it. And the company will only really back it if they're certain. So they're like, Call of Duty's hot right now. Let's make something like Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be that kind of proven thing where they follow down that path. And you have so many people in this team that they're all polishing this thing. And when you polish it, you tend to lose a lot of the character in the game and something that could make it unique. And you also have a very large, like some of these teams are like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
You know, interesting things are going to get lost in translation, and it's going to come down to the lowest common denominator of an aspect of something, right? Like when it's going through so many hands. So I absolutely come down to the fact that I think the most interesting games are on the indie market, and I'm surprised that there's still a bit of a stigma with indie games sometimes. I think that's starting to go away, but you know, people are like, I only play AAA games. Good luck playing 3 games a year. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have a great time. But getting onto the topic of things, what do you have to respond to that there, Kev?
I don't really know.
Yeah?
Towards the indie stigma thing, I think it's actually starting back up again. Because
Really?
of how many trash games went on Steam last year?
Yeah,
that's true.
And a lot more trash is getting on Steam because of Greenlight and things like that. Like, it's just, there's a lot of garbage on there.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I definitely agree. Like, you know, there's more heart in the indie games because they're risking less money to make the game. And it's more of a passion project sometimes. And in AAA, like there's a lot of money put into those games.
Yeah.
The investors really don't want you throwing money at something that has no proven, no way that like this can work.
Exactly. It
except
has to
by
follow
chance.
a trend. Yeah.
Isn't that kind of the definition of what like a soulless product is, though? Like, the bottom line is, it's not so much we're going to risk that it will or won't make money. It's like we have to rely, like with beyond a shadow of a doubt, believe this idea can make money.
I think that's reasonable, though.
It is from a company's standpoint.
I don't think that necessarily means it's soulless, though.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Like, there's lots of love put into those games by the developers.
I think the issue is, like, production studios have the final say on creative means. That's, I think, the biggest issue in the AAA market anyway. Yeah. There's a lot of you see a lot of so many tragic stories of good developers getting shafted by studio meddling. A great example, I think, would be the recent Battlefront reboot. That game's utterly stripped for content.
Okay.
Even though they're promised and they have added plenty of content, it's just kind of like generic first-person shooter with a great aesthetic, super familiar license, but there's not a whole lot into it.
Well, that was like time pressure more than anything.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like we need to get it out with Star Wars Episode 7.
Exactly. If the developers were able to put the proper time into the game they needed, we would have had a much more memorable and competent product. But now DICE has this huge kind of black mark on their record. Same with the launch of Battlefield 4. They were rushed and they weren't ready, and the game was utterly unplayable online when it launched. And again, this is another this sort of black mark on a studio that I think is a really competent studio.
They make Clearly, I mean, Battlefield 1's fantastic.
Yeah, all the Battlefield from 3 to 4 to 1 are all. I enjoyed all of them.
Yeah.
So I feel like the bigger issue is there's too much demand in the market, and developers being pushed way beyond their means.
Now, going from that, a company that I think is taking an interesting approach now is Disney. They're taking their time more with the projects, and they're not just giving them all to Activision and being like, get it out with the movie.
Yeah.
You know, they're taking their time with these things now, I think, and going to people like Insomniac. Insomniac's making the next fucking Spider-Man game, and that's fucking awesome.
I know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think we're starting to get things like that, and I think maybe bigger publishing companies are starting to get it that, like, okay, they need a lot more time to make games like this. Like, classic example I always go back to is The Force Unleashed?
Yeah.
The first one? First game was real good. And then they...
a narrative even fits in the Star Wars lore.
Exactly. And then the second game, they're like, okay, you need it done in 9 months. And they're like, if you give us this amount of time, we're maybe going to produce a 7 for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to do very well. And they're like, just do it. It came out. It got a 7.5 rating. They're like, we really could have used more time.
Yeah. And it's funny. We can harken back to Dragon Age with that. I feel like it was the same sort of thing. You have a passion project developed by someone who's, or a team, I should say, but spearheaded by an individual that were super passionate about what they were doing, harkening back to the things that they loved when they were younger. And then the sequel, which is just, all right, we need a sequel. Here's a team of writers. Here's a deadline. Put it together.
Yeah, I at least kind of like where they went with Dragon Age 2, and that like they're like, okay, we have a big time crunch. Let's try something a little more different.
That's true, yeah.
Instead of like trying to make another Origins and then just failing completely.
Yeah, because that wouldn't have worked in that time frame at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing that really threw me off of Dragon Age 2 is you could tell there were a lot of reused assets. Like when you would go down into the dungeons, everything looked the same.
Yeah.
Everything looked the fucking same.
I had to
run
run around the Wounded Coast like 3 or 4 times, and by the end of the first time, I was tired of it.
Yeah.
Like that big area outside of Kirkwall.
Yeah.
I hated it.
And it's just like, and it came out at around the same time as Skyrim, and then you look at the two, you're like, okay, I can play this one game where like everything kind of looks the same, or I can play this other game where everything's like handcrafted caves and things like that. It's like, well, I mean, this is kind of an easy choice.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then the right choice at the time was Dark Souls, but I mean, because it came out at the same time. You're not a big Dark Souls fan, are you?
I just never really got into the Dark Souls series. I wanted to. I played a lot of Demon Souls
Yeah.
when it was out.
Yeah.
I still have Demon Souls, but
Yeah. I'm going to borrow it from you.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, cool.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
I heard that Dark Souls 2 was kind of lame when it came out.
Yeah.
And that sort of ruined my hype for wanting to get into the series. Because I was playing Demon Souls, and I was like, this is fun. Like, I wouldn't mind playing a sequel, but I heard Dark Souls isn't a sequel so much as a spiritual successor.
Yep.
And then the sequel to that was kind of lame from what I heard. So I just didn't really get into it.
But the sequel to that was pretty good. 3 was good.
Yeah, that I also hear, but I just don't play as many games nowadays as I did
Yeah.
back in the day.
Well, the thing with like Dark Souls 2's comparison is there's many people that consider Dark Souls 1 to be one of the greatest games ever.
Yeah. So to follow that up, I would say Dark Souls 2 is a good game. It's not a bad game. It's not as good as Dark Souls 1. Like it's not even close.
Yeah.
Whereas I think 3 comes closer to that level. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to be as good for me, but I think 3 is a really good game. Really good.
Yeah.
Well, I play a lot of strategy games now, especially. Grand strategy, I guess.
Like what?
Yeah.
The Paradox Suite is what I call it, but games like Crusader Kings and Europe Universalis and Victoria. And I haven't gotten to play the 4th Hearts of Iron game, but also I play the Total War series and Endless Legend. I wouldn't really call XCOM Grand Strategy, but played a shitload of the XCOM reboot.
Okay. You just spoke Greek to me right now. I didn't know any of those games.
Oh, no?
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Oh, well, the point is when I stumbled across Europa Universalis 4,
Yeah.
that game sort of became my life for a while.
Okay.
That was the only thing I played for a good 4 or 5 months.
Really?
So good. The strategy is so deep. There's so
Yeah.
many layers. So that's why I sort of took a break from a lot of the other games I was playing, and then I lost my PC, and I just kind of I never really got into Dark Souls.
Right.
But I've been meaning to. That's one of those games where I feel like this is like you'd love this. I have conversations with myself.
Yeah.
I say, you would love this. Go and play this, but I just haven't found the chance to do it.
Okay. Cool. Have anything to add, Kev?
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. Okay, now the main reason we brought Wayne on the show, you do have a little something to share with us, right?
I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was really interested in people that are really into furry culture, and I figured you would. Oh my god!
Yeah,
I was actually able to keep it straight there at that.
Yeah,
So if you could speak on that, Wayne, that'd be fantastic.
Yes, my fursona is a bear wolf.
Okay.
Because
You're a bear.
Yeah, exactly. Like, feel deep down, I'm more like a bear. I'm strong, but also independent.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
Fierce.
Absolutely.
But I would say there's a bit of wolf in me because I do have sort of a pack mentality.
Yeah.
I make small groups of people. I connect with quite a bit.
You've given a lot of thought to this. This started off as a joke.
I'm just kind of. This is coming off the
Sure.
top of my head.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if that's how you pick fursonas or not.
Is that a thing? Personas?
Yeah, I heard that it's instead of persona, it's fursona.
Yeah.
Which apparently is a term you're supposed to take seriously. I thought it was a joke.
Oh.
Like weeaboo. I thought fursona was like weeaboo and that it's a joke term. But no, apparently that's
Okay.
actually how they were.
It's a legit thing.
I do think furries are a bit more respectable than otherkin, for example.
What's another kid?
Oh god.
Okay, so a furry is someone that like emulates like animal traits, and they dress up like an animal, or
they give themselves little tails in their buttholes, right?
That sort of thing.
Okay, yeah.
And otherkin is someone that genuinely believes that they are spiritually connected with another animal. So if you're a wolfkin,
I think I dated a girl like that once.
What? Oh yeah,
yeah. She called herself a fox.
How
like
was
a
the sex?
foxkin.
Weird.
Fair enough.
Did she make noises?
I don't want to get into it.
Could you only give it to her from behind?
Don't worry about it, guys. Whatever, it's fine.
Just scream like a baby whenever she wanted it.
I just find I was reading these. I play this game called the Tumblr Godwin's Law game, where you find like random blogs on Tumblr, and you just try to determine whether or not it's like actually a real person saying this, or if it's a joke.
Yeah.
And I came across this one person that was like going through the supermarket, and like they walked through the meat market, and like it activated their wolf rage, and they started growling at the meat and that market and they were like, this is like so how hard is to be an otherkin, and like, oh, you don't understand, like I can't walk through a meat market without freaking out. It's like I don't think that's really what happens.
Well then.
So at least with furries, I just think furries are like, it's like a fetish.
Yeah.
You do you. Like, just keep it to yourself.
Absolutely.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But otherkin, it's like a whole lifestyle choice.
Wow.
And they try to tell me I'm the asshole for not taking it seriously.
Man, see, okay, now I feel like this is going to start to get into one of our topics that we do enter sometimes, called "Fuck You in Your Safe Space." Now, where do you stand on the whole safe space type
Oh, it's
thing?
bullshit.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, not like utter bullshit. I understand the idea that like, oh, some content, I guess, could be troubling for certain people. But
Right.
my approach is like, well, just suck it up. If you're
Right.
at school, you're here to learn. And newsflash, certain things about learning are kind of scary. Like,
Because I don't know how to talk to people anymore.
me neither.
Like, I feel like I'm just going to say the wrong thing. Like,
I had a real issue with saying the wrong thing and pissing off a lot of people.
yeah, and it's like, I'm sorry. Like, what do you want me to call you? Like,
Well, that was my approach before, was always apologizing, saying, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But I got to a point where it's like, wait, no, I'm tired of saying sorry when I'm not sorry all the time. Like,
Yeah.
it gets to a point where it's like, you know what? Just stop being so sensitive.
yeah.
Imagine if personal bubbles were like, people had physical, literal personal bubbles.
Yeah.
Who would be the asshole? The person with the bubble closest to the skin that tries their best to avoid everyone? Or the one with the huge
Takes up the
bubble?
fucking room.
Yeah, that takes up the whole sidewalk, and like you have to walk around that bubble.
Yeah.
Or else like they're gonna cause a scene, and then you're in this like this situation on your hands that you have to deal with.
Yeah. Well, what I think about the safe space is like being in that safe space for so long makes people more sensitive.
Yeah.
Because they're not used to hearing like that
It's an
stuff
echo
because they're
chamber.
avoiding it. So when they
Absolutely.
do hear it, it's that much more troubling or whatever.
Yeah.
'cause-
Triggering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing. Yeah, I don't know. The SJWs, I feel like they're always looking for a fight
Yeah.
in every little thing.
I feel like it's just a giant circle jerk of projection.
Yeah.
Like they're unsatisfied with something in their life, and they're trying to find every possible thing to blame it on. But in reality, it's like, no, there's something that isn't working with your personal life, like whatever, maybe your schooling or like your relationship or something like that.
Yep.
But you're just finding not you, like generally you, Madam SJW,
Right,
are
yeah,
looking for anything to blame it on. And they get so devoted into this ideology, and like Kevin said, they're probably like so deep into their own echo chamber that they're so in denial about the things that they believe in. They're so headstrong in their belief that like they don't care what type of facts or what kind of logic you can bring to the table, any
Yeah.
kind of reasoning. They're going to believe what they believe,
Absolutely.
and the harder you try to convince them, the more they're going to believe it. So it's sort of, I find it more productive just kind of scream into a well than have an argument with these types of people.
It was interesting. My first exposure to something like this was actually involving Kevin. It was someone posted something on Facebook, just like a mutual friend
Oh,
of the
my.
two of us. Yeah, you know where I'm going.
Okay.
And
Sounds like a story.
Yeah, it was with regards to cultural appropriation.
Oh god.
And how Iggy Azalea should, whether or not you like her rapping ability, whatever, that's fine. That's
I like her
whatever.
butt.
But yeah, exactly. But you know what I mean. She should be allowed to do her music and rap, and fine. That's whatever. Now, how did this go down here, Kev?
So somebody posted some article about cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
And then there was some video about this black woman who explained that all
Azalea
mus-
Banks? Or? Oh no, they were talking about. Yeah. I get
It
you
was
now.
some random
Yeah.
black woman who explained that all music came out of Africa, everything about it.
Yeah.
And that white people shouldn't have any music. And I was just like, no. Like how music as we understand it like came from classical music.
Yeah.
That's when we figured out all the notes we use. That's when we figured out,
Musical
what
theory.
melodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when like what a key sounds like emotionally.
Yeah.
That's when that was set.
Exactly.
That's a Western standard.
Yeah. So, like, to hear that kind of stuff, I'm like, no, like, she just doesn't get this.
What I find particularly troubling too is most often you see people getting going into rants on social media and using electronic devices. Like, if you want to talk about the product of a culture, as much as you may not agree with how we got to this point, computers and the internet and social media and really this type of presentation in general, that's all a Western idea that all came from the West.
Yeah.
So you can complain that, oh, you know, this white dude with dreadlocks, oh, he's appropriating black culture, which, by the way, that's not even true.
It's Egyptian.
Yeah. That's a good way for soldiers to wear their hair when they would go to war for months on end.
Yeah.
Like, what? Anyway, so...
Yeah, but what I don't understand is, like, you can only wear something from your culture, and they're pushing a narrative that they're trying to make a more open environment. How is that doing that? If
It's
anything,
contradictory.
More alienation. How is that going to lead to
It's
a more open and diverse?
segregation
Exactly.
on a whole.
Yeah.
It's segregation. We worked so hard.
So you're
to
going
get rid of
to,
that.
so you're trying to get rid of segregation by introducing more segregation?
What's worse is, like, they're separating culture into a racial line, too.
Right.
You have the idea of, like, black culture, Asian culture, Latino culture. When
Yeah.
in reality, the culture they're talking about is just exposure to certain forms of entertainment over time.
Yeah.
And that's usually to do with poverty. The reason you see, like, the Tyler Perry-esque movie... are you familiar? I'm assuming you're familiar with Tyler Perry.
I know he makes a lot of money from movies that I don't totally get.
Oh, yeah, they're just garbage. But the reason that is because, you know, in the 60s and the 70s, a lot of black people lived in poor areas.
Yeah.
And so they watched, like, they'd go to the store and buy a trash movie, and that was, like, they couldn't afford to go to the movie all the time, sort of thing. So over time, they got used to that style of media that became what you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Or what they would be familiar with. But you know what I mean? If I was a person in the community growing up in that time, that's what I'd be familiar with.
Absolutely.
And now people, the hidden racism behind all of it, they don't even realize. And when you say something like that, this certain way of acting is black culture, you're really mentioning the fact that they're no better than where they came from.
Right.
Like, subconsciously, whether or not you realize it, you're saying that these people can never evolve from the setting, like from where they were born into.
Yeah.
Right.
It's this super hierarchical kind of...
Well, I just find it so weird that, like, they do try and divide up cultures. Because, like, really, when you, like, go into other cultures and stuff, what you see is just a subset of all the culture in that place, and there's no way to actually see the entire culture of a place, because it's just built up of a bunch of subcultures.
Right.
And to think, like, there's any actual dividing lines,
Yeah.
it is really foolish, because, like, you get a big city, and big city has its neighborhoods, and they all have all their cultures. But, you know, certain people in those neighborhoods maybe don't identify with the culture as much, but that influences the culture. And, like, so a city's made up of a whole bunch of that shit. And then there's the towns close to outside the city that have a bit of the city culture, a bit of the farming culture, and then
there's the
there's
country.
farming culture. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
And even then
it's just
there's,
this
like...
weird gradient everywhere of, like, what the cultures are. So, like, how do you pinpoint when a culture begins and ends?
Your culture develops...
What it is.
Particularly based on the economic development of your area.
Yeah.
Right.
For example, like, we live in Prince Edward Island.
Yep.
There's not I mean, Charlottetown might be a bad example, but there's really not a whole lot of culture here, aside from, like, islander culture, but you don't see a lot of multiculturalism.
Right.
And that's because there's just not a lot of people here. Not a lot of development. But you go to a large city, like, of course you're going to have a distorted view of how the world is and how multiculturalism can work, because you live in a part of the world where there's a ton of it.
Yeah.
But go to, like, a country like Japan, where there's, like, a 98% homogenous population or something.
Yeah.
When people say something is, like, Japanese, it's because most people in Japan are Japanese. They don't have to answer to anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, everything starts and ends with Japan. So I feel like, again, culture isn't necessarily arbitrary, but most people need to be self-aware on the fact that what they define as culture really is just lifestyles, certain people's lifestyles and their traditions and their beliefs developed over time, coupled with, like, economic development and changes. That's why there's been such a huge shift in, like, the 1800s onward, because you had European powers kind of spread it along the world and just brought a whole bunch of wealth to one area.
Yeah.
The reason Central Africa, for example, is basically a war zone is because someone came in a while ago and threw a bunch of money at a bunch of people, and then now they're just fighting all the time for all this money.
Yeah. The multiculturalism thing is kind of funny, too. Like, you know, how many people want to force it onto other things? And I think Witcher 3 is one of these prime examples.
Yeah.
When that came out,
that game's racist.
It got so much shit for being just white people, and it's like,
It's historically
this
accurate.
is based on Polish folklore.
developed
Yeah.
by a Polish studio
Yeah.
set in medieval Poland.
This is a love story to Poland. which lost most of their culture during World War II.
Yeah, and this was like the big part of their culture that they celebrate, right?
Not just that, but there's also like the Teutonic Knights in the 1200s.
Yeah.
All these like weird creatures are from Polish folklore, but we don't really get that because like we didn't, or like, you know, I'm assuming most of us are Western Europeans. Yeah. We didn't have like pagans and shit.
Yeah.
Aside from like the Druids, that was so long ago that we're not gonna remember any of it.
No, absolutely. Yeah, man. Cool.
But it's still racist because there's
because white people.
Even
it's racist because white people.
Exactly. Yeah.
The head bob you got going on.
They should have at least tried to be inclusive. It doesn't matter if they're trying to be accurate.
Yeah.
Look at Hamilton. Yeah. That one's not accurate, but it's inclusive.
There we are. I hear Hamilton's pretty good. I don't know. I never bothered to watch it.
I know. I remember there was a controversy because like a bunch of characters are multicultural or multiracial. And it's about like the founding of the United States.
Okay.
So why is that?
Makes sense.
There were like certain characters, but you're allowed to get away with it then.
Okay.
Because you're getting rid of white people. So like, who cares?
Interesting. Now, Wayne, do you have anything else to bring to the table? Any more topics?
In this regard?
Just anything. Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, actually, we can.
Yeah?
What
do you want to talk about?
We can extend up from the point, not necessarily just a cultural thing, but I feel like there's a bigger issue with policing language in general.
Okay.
There's this. I don't know. I feel kind of like during the election, especially.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd get into this. Okay.
Yeah. That was just a big messy situation.
It was a big messy situation, wasn't it?
And I saw that. If we're going to rag on SJWs a bit, but just the cultural Marxists in general,
right?
They were willing, like, I understand, not wanting to support Trump. I get it. Yeah. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I'm not a Clinton supporter. So full disclosure,
okay.
Isn't either camp. But I felt so unsettled at the amount of people ignoring the amount of horrible things Clinton did just during the election cycle itself. Never mind primary to it.
Okay.
Like seeing the DNC's total systematic breakdown and destruction of the Bernie campaign.
Yeah.
Right.
The mainstream media slandered that guy at every opportunity. And it's a shame because if you put Bernie against someone like Trump, for all those people that were super against Trump, but pro-Clinton.
I don't know if Bernie would have won, being a socialist Jew, but maybe.
But he already controls the media, I thought.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Clearly not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember I worked when I was working in the summer. I'd take my lunch break every day, and I always go on and turn on CNN. And I hate CNN, but like they're the only cable news network I would know.
Yeah.
And in the break room, that's all we had. So I'd watch CNN, and wow, the anchors would try their best just to like find some way to put Bernie down at every time.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't help but sympathize with the Democrats that feel absolutely slighted.
Right.
Before a single vote was cast, we had 400 superdelegates pledged to Clinton. Like, what? How does 400 of the superdelegates say, oh, yeah, she's the best interest of the party, before even a single person has voted? It doesn't, it stinks of something foul.
Okay.
And the one thing that I can say universally that I think everyone should accept about Trump is whether or not you agree with his policy or how he stands or anything like that, he did everything himself. He took on the GOP, and he took them down all by himself. Whether it be, what do you think it was, because he's being honest or leading people on, it doesn't matter. The point is he did it all by himself. He crushed them.
One thing about Trump is he's very kind of unassuming, and I think it's clear at this point that in many rooms he's the smartest person in the room. Whether or not people are willing to accept it,
it's true.
He clearly is.
Yeah.
He can be
a dick about it.
But he's clearly able to manipulate people and rally massive amounts of support behind him. Whether or not you agree with him, clearly he's got a lot going on up there.
That's what makes a good leader.
I guess.
We'll see. It's the weight of the country, and there's a lot of power in his hands now.
Yeah. Because his
Twitter
is still very reckless. Very reckless.
His Twitter's like
alarmingly reckless.
I don't know. Maybe it's a bit more introspective and selfish, but if I were an American citizen, if I was a tax-paying American citizen, I would support Trump over Clinton.
Really?
Solely for the fact that, my general consensus is the government sucks at everything.
Okay.
Every time official...
Interesting. Because
I don't want to slander anyone. It's just like I find most publicly funded institutions tend to put out a subpar performance. Best to describe it. I'm big on individualism and no interventionalism. I totally believe in government and rules. I'm not one of these like anarchist people. They're like, rules. That'll solve problems, right?
So you're a true Republican then. Get the government out of your fucking face.
Yeah, exactly.
Like low taxation and just fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Don't tell me how to live. Don't tell me where to spend my money. Just keep things afloat.
Okay. Now being in Canada, how do you like that free healthcare?
Ooh, this is a touchy subject for a lot of people.
Okay.
I think that the quality of American healthcare is much higher than Canadian healthcare.
Clearly.
From anyone, all of my people, like I've never been in the hospital in the States, but everyone that
neither.
I know, even in my own personal life, who've experienced both, can say like, yeah, quality of American healthcare is way, way better. One, because it's a business, so
Yeah.
there's more money to be had there.
Yep.
But I feel like the amount we pay in taxes for the service we receive for healthcare is just unjustifiable.
Really?
I don't see, like, we have a high tax rate for this part of the world.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Canada. I'm going to extend this beyond healthcare.
Our business tax is lower than the States, though.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Yep.
But I'm going to extend this to most government programs as it is. You can take the Scandinavian example, like Denmark and Sweden, where people pay like these ridiculously high tax rates, but it works because everyone's like happy.
Yeah.
In the area, they're fine to like having their place in society, paying their taxes, doing whatever. Or you can have sort of an American-esque approach to it. Sort of. The States is getting kind of weird in the last 20 years, but
Yeah.
there's very little intervention, and everything kind of operates on a business standard.
Okay.
Which solves problems, but also creates problems.
Right.
It's created a lot of problems.
Yeah.
That's the big issue. Is like Canada is kind of like sort of taking the Scandinavian example, but not putting enough into it to the point where it can be absolutely efficient.
But in comparison between the two countries, the taxes are rather comparable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
On
But-
certain substances.
Yeah.
If you look at something like alcohol, for example.
Yeah.
In Canada, we have to buy alcohol, or not we, but alcohol usually goes through a federal system, and as a
Yeah.
result, it's super expensive. And you're not going to get rid of that because that's a huge loss of government revenue, which
Yeah.
means less social programs. It's this huge domino effect.
Absolutely.
It's one of the things we're stuck with. So I don't know if I would. I think overall, healthcare is one of the, like education. It's one of the things I feel like should be a state funded. It's one of the things we can get away with state funding. We
Right.
just need to give it the proper funding. If you're gonna state fund healthcare, you have to put in as much as you need. And it's one of those things where like you don't. Even if people are like, oh, I don't want to pay for healthcare. Well,
I don't think it's as bad as you're implying it is, though.
Well, I've only really ever experienced outpatients.
Okay.
And outpatients is terrible.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually the worst.
It is the worst, I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah, I mean, you can go in with a broken arm and wait 4 hours, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah, but like if there's an emergency, at least they respond. It's not like, oh, you're having a
Yeah.
heart attack, give it like an hour. Then I can make time for you. At least they'll respond to someone in an emergency. It's just shitty if, for example, you go into the outpatients with a broken arm, wait 3.5 hours, and then someone comes in with a heart attack, and it's like, wait, I gotta wait another hour.
Right. I get that.
Because my medical issue isn't quite as high on the priority list as this one.
Right. Yeah, I get that. But like at the same time, I kind of had like an eye-opening experience the other day. I was complaining about a cold, and I was messaging this person I've been hanging out with, and she's like, "Yeah, I've been in the hospital for 4 days now." And she just showed up, and they with the kidney infection, and they just took her in. And it was like
That's
4
true.
days. She's not gonna have to pay for anything or anything like
Yeah.
like that. So it's interesting to see it from that perspective too. Of like, yeah, if shit goes south, you could just go there, not worry about any expenses or anything like that, and they'll fix you up. There you can go.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is certainly interesting.
I would definitely prefer not stressing over money
That's
while sick.
And
Yeah.
it's-
Well, you can't work either, right?
Most
So then it's
citizens
like,
have
uh-oh.
to pay for health insurance in the States. And
Right.
with the Affordable Care Act, health insurance is sort of mandatory.
Right.
So they're almost kind of enacting universal health care anyway, but not really. Because they're still putting it through insurance
privatized
channels,
system, yeah.
which is the
Yeah.
problem with the industry.
Right.
So it doesn't really solve anything. You're just kind of forcing people to take part in the system, which is
Right.
admittedly broken.
Okay.
It's skewed too heavily towards the wealthy, but that's a lot of institutions in the States where I feel like that's the perfect description.
Yeah.
Right.
It's if you're not born with the right like wealth, you're gonna have a really hard time.
Yeah, I think that's true in a lot of parts of the world, I would say.
Yeah, I guess I was having an experience because I went to university for a couple of years, but I left. But it's so easy for someone like me to get back into the swing of things.
Right.
There's so many channels to go through. Whereas in the United States, you take loans, and if you leave, that's it.
Yeah.
You're poor for the rest of your life.
Universities are more expensive there too, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think our universities have more government funding behind them because my buddy and I were looking into this the other night, and he's like, "Yeah, we pay a lot for university." I'm like, "Yeah, but the amount that we pay is only like 37% of the operating costs of UPEI."
Yeah.
Right now, you know what I mean? And it's not even 37%; it's closer to like 25%, and then the rest is from their stuff that they sell on site, like books and shit like that. But a large part of it, like 50% or so, is just from government grants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's definitely a large majority is paid by the government
Yeah, exactly.
to make schooling more affordable.
When it comes to skills training, like community colleges,
Yeah.
I feel like they deserve more state funding, even though they're already much cheaper than university.
Right.
A lot of what you learn in university is theory-based education. So it's like, read this book and absorb knowledge from it.
Yeah.
You can't really quantify the education you get at a university. You get a degree and you get a job, but like you can never say, I'm an expert in this subject, but I can't specifically do like this one thing. You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying. Whereas if you're welding, you can I can weld to this level of welding.
I'm a carpenter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I feel like the proper solution to the current economic situation with the whole underemployment and youth unemployment especially,
right.
we should be focusing on putting people in these concrete diploma-based jobs, because then they can do this certain thing.
And I think a part of that is coming from skilled trades getting a bad rap. Like, you're not very smart, so you're going to have to do a skill job. Well, no, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
There's absolutely a stigma
Plumbers make
against
a
it.
lot of money.
They do make a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like, you be an electrician, you'll make a lot of money.
It's like comparably like $80 an hour or something.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous. Like, what? It sounds ridiculous.
Whereas you can go get your Starbucks degree, also known as an English major, and you know what I mean? Snap! But it's true.
That's why I left. I was gonna, I was getting an arts degree, and then I got 2 years in. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So
I left. No, for sure, man, for sure. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see if that ever comes to a head. But I mean, we're also the most educated generation with the least employment opportunities.
Yeah, maybe there's
all
a
of our
correlation
parents
there.
told us to go to college.
Yeah. There's an overqualified workforce and just not enough opportunity to work.
Yeah.
And then there's an automation of jobs issue, which in the next 15 years could cause problems. But
yeah,
I don't know. I remember a time before self-checkout lanes, and I love self-checkout lanes. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah. What do you think of this Amazon store thing they got going on here?
Oh,
looks interesting.
yeah,
Looks
where
interesting. You see that there, Kev?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about this?
I forget.
You literally you walk in, it just like scans your phone when you go in there. You take something, and go.
Oh, you don't take your wallet with you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just you don't pay for anything. You literally just pick it up and leave.
Clearly, that's the
no
future.
one works there
unless this goes I feel like it could go the same way as the Hindenburg and the blip industry.
Okay.
Blip.
Yeah, the blip industry.
The blimp industry, and that it was the
blip
future.
industry was a blip.
It was. It was the future until the Hindenburg.
Yeah.
And then no one wanted to go on a blimp anymore.
Fair enough.
So this Amazon thing could be the future until there's one massive cyber break-in.
Right.
And then everybody steals a bunch of money from someone's virtual wallet.
Yeah.
And then it'll be completely dead. But if that doesn't happen, I feel like that's the future.
Well, that's what I think about the whole self-driving car thing, right? It's going to be cool until a self-driving car makes a decision to kill a driver.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then it'll be like
self-aware.
He was driving and it literally just drove him into a fucking wall, which it's gonna happen at some point, and then that's gonna make people go, "Fuck." You know what I mean?
I feel like self-driving cars are the first step towards another automated traveling system, kind of not quite the scope of a monorail or the railroad. But I feel like in the future we'll see massive cities with huge avenues getting these specific, they have those trolley.
Trams?
Trolley.
Yep. Yeah, no, I get you.
I feel like we'll have specific lanes for self-driving cars
Right.
at some point, because that way it can't divert off course if the course is mandated.
Right.
Someone, maybe the city center will have automated pathways going to certain entertainment hubs within the city.
Right.
And you kind of get out of the car and leave. Maybe almost like an automated transport system. Rather than calling a cab, you go into the self-driving car to take you from one part of the city to the other, and you just walk. You put some money in the cab.
Yeah.
Or the self-driving cab.
Right.
That sort of thing. I feel like that's where it could be going, but as it stands right now, I wouldn't get in one for the reason that you suggested.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I don't
Fair
know.
enough.
There's so much cool stuff you can do with them, though. You could just be like,
Kevin's part robot, so it's
well, you could be like, okay, drive me to the movie theaters. While I'm in the movie theaters, I want you to go get gas. I want you to cab people around for a couple hours.
Make me a couple
and then
bucks.
come pick me up.
Yeah.
That is cool.
And then you make money while watching movies.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Because you own a cool car.
Yeah. You go to a place where it's hip and you do a killing.
Right.
I bet people would pay just to ride in the self-driving car.
Probably.
$10 to go down the road. But you don't have to touch a button.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Huh.
It's like having someone drive you down the road, but no one's driving you down the road.
Ooh.
Ghost car. What?
But yeah, I don't know. It's such a optimistic future.
Yeah.
Just thinking about self-driving cars. Just imagine intersections where all the cars just go.
Yeah.
And they whiz past each other, but nothing ever hits because they know where everything else is.
What about, you ever think flying cars could be a thing?
I don't know. See, you'd have to have a pilot's license if you wanted to pilot it yourself. But I mean, I guess if it drove itself, then that's...
Yeah.
I just feel like there's more opportunity for failure, because at least if your car breaks down, it's probably going to stop. But you can't really stop in the air. You're going to fall. Like, gravity's going to bring you down. So
your engine hiccups and then you're plummeting to your death.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Oh, so what would you use for fuel? You'd need to use a ton.
Yeah. I don't know what you use.
Flying nuclear
rocket
reactor.
fuel or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Plutonium.
You can cook your eggs on it too, right?
Yeah. I just don't see the point in going up like that.
Yeah.
Unless you actually want to like fly over water or something like that.
Yeah.
Because like it's just a big waste of energy getting up into the air. That's not getting you anywhere as close to your destination.
Yeah, unless theoretically we could get something that is below absolute zero, then I guess we could get like levitation going on with some magnets.
Oh yeah, the old reverse gravity.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But that's what the plot of Avatar was about, actually.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, unobtainium. That's what it would do.
Unobtainium.
That's what it was called in the movie. Do you not recall that? It was literally called unobtainium. I think so.
Oh,
wasn't it something ridiculous like that?
It was bad.
Oh man, Space Pocahontas.
Yeah. It is Space Pocahontas.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. There's
Looks
a few
great.
like silly like names for stuff in like superhero stuff.
Well, that's what I always appreciated about Dragon Ball. Was all the names were puns. Like you're not supposed to take it seriously.
Yeah.
Like how we define races between characters isn't how they look. It's the pun base for their name.
So you're big into some of the animes, and Kevin's also big into some of the animes.
Some.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're respectable pieces of animation out there, but there's also a lot of trash.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I just finished Cowboy Bebop recently.
Oh yeah?
So classic.
Ah, so good.
Man, that show was so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's such a classic, like best animation ever. But
yeah.
I personally enjoy Samurai Champloo more than Cowboy Bebop.
I haven't watched that one yet.
Just because I enjoy feudal Japan more than space westerns. But Cowboy Bebop is... I think the music for Cowboy Bebop is probably the best part about it.
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
I want to be a space cowboy now.
Okay, we're ending the episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a good one. Fucking nerds, man.
It's
You
good
ruined
stuff.
everything. Shut up, Wayne. Get out of here.
Speaking of-
thanks for being on the show, by the way.